or should or could know it, because you should understand what humanity is, how to overcome it. You need to understand what it is to overcome it. You need to understand your opponent. So she'll learn it, but you ain't gonna get over and just dismiss the Calippo. Here's the thing: there's Lon Malo Duquette. He ran the OTO, one of Crowley. He's best at explaining Crowley. He made a book called Understanding Crowley's Tarot. So Crowley's Tarot card book, he made a book called Understanding It. So he's been explaining Crowley forever. Deep enough for cultists, doesn't take itself seriously. He's on Facebook. I told Miss Blue, get him on your show. He said, I'll come on your show as long as you invite some other white folks on the show. Some white folks have a spiritual store, so she did a show with them. It was like to get Lon Malo Duquette, because I wanted to be the puppet master in this particular situation, which I was, and I was typing questions to ask him, because he would never sit down with me for no reason. Typing questions to ask this motherfucker, and Miss Blue was asking him, because she didn't know what to ask him. So we asking him questions. So I'm letting him do all this shit. Oh, wow, and this and that. He's saying all the shit we know, thinking we don't know it. He's like, well, I hate to burst your guys' bubbles, but, angels are nothing but energies. I know we thought they were this and that. He's talking to some black folks that believes in angels. Even Miss Blue had to tell him, no, that ain't bursting nothing, player. We been knew that. That's old hat for us. Even Miss Blue got in his ass on that one. So now, I finally asked, he's talking about his Kabbalah shit. What's the Calippo? His words were, well, there's so much information about the front side of the tree that I'm dealing with. I really get to deal with the Calippo and what that means, and there's just too much information dealing with the front. He basically dismissed it. So I had the mentality, either he don't know or whatever. So I'm telling this to Bobby, this thing. So Bobby said, wait a minute, this motherfucker did a whole book on the goddamn Calippo. I said, what? I said, the royal penis is clean? He said, look, he didn't even want to tell you niggas. Or, see, they know that the Calippo can fuck them up based upon their lack of melanin. So they have to tread lightly with it. You know what I'm saying? They have to tread lightly with it. Their boldest motherfucker was Crowley dealing with the dark side shit. I told you, he was a nigga disincarnated in a white body. We've gotten that before. And actually, Bobby's giving me words of Crowley that Crowley was basically saying that as well. Now, so he either didn't want to tell niggas, or Bobby said they also, because they write books, and this will fuck their people up, they don't want to give that information because they become liable for niggas fucking with the Calippo, and they getting fucked up based upon their lack of money. So it made more sense. But clearly, he was willing to tell you, just dismiss it, and not tell you niggas, even though he wrote an entire fucking book on this shit. Alright? So that tells you what the real important shit is, and what they really safeguarding is what you've been calling this dark side, and what you've been calling fucking evil. You understand? You better get over that. So after Europe got off the island, after dirt, I gave you a mentality that began to thrive. A mentality that was already in existence, but was able to incarnate on the earth. Remember, I told you, the Antichrist incarnates, Christ incarnates, Lucifer even incarnates, but you thinking that is one individual. It incarnates into a mentality, into an energy that exists through the people. The only one that's ever going to be born here incarnated are humans, until that stops. And the Antichrist and all these energies are talking about a time period. So, in Zarathustra, Persian information was just giving another interpretation of the demiurge, Gnosticism, an energy in humanity that keeps it. This was just his version. This is just what we use through a particular system to make this point. But there are many systems that talk of this. We know that. And what you need to understand is he's actually talking about when it incarnated when white people showed up. That was the true incarnation of the Antichrist. Because they was unlike anything. And mind you this, they came out of our DNA, So they are aspect of us. They didn't come from Pleiades. They didn't come from no star system. They were born here as an aspect of the lowest nature of us on planet Earth, an aspect of us. The good news for them is they can evolve based upon the seed of the Negro that is in them. Once they start to embrace, love it, and understand the value of it. John Anthony West, Magical Egypt. Those are the 8 CDs I was trying to tell you about before. You can find them on YouTube. Magical Egypt. He did an 8-part series. In the series, you see all these niggas on the wall that he's studying. Then he starts talking about Matthew. I can't remember the chapter. It's in my book. Where there's a story called The Talents. The Talents of Men. Jesus Christ comes down, sees a man with 10 talents, tells that man, bury those 10 talents. I'll be back next year. A man with 5 talents, bury those talents. I'll be back next year. Then he sees a man with 1 talent and says, bury that talent. I'll be back next year. So next year, Jesus Christ comes back. The man with 10 talents buried them. Now he has 20 talents. The man with 10 talents buried them. 5 talents buried him. Now he has 10 talents. What this is saying is those talents, they were talking about money in that context, but they represent who and what you are, what is in you, your melanin, your power, your energy, your light. To bury it, meaning study the science, go within, and it still will double. You have a pathway. That's what that message of Christ is saying. You have a pathway no matter where you're starting. So the man with 1 talent didn't bury his talent. And of course, everlasting hell, destruction, and all this, Jesus showed him his wrath. Because he said, why didn't you bury your 1 talent? He said, motherfucker, it was only 1 talent. It wasn't shit. I ain't going to bury that. So I'm like, why is he telling the story? Then I got why he was telling the story. He's telling the story because he's talking to white people. He's saying, I know these walls are filled with black people. I know they have the divine kiss of melanin. I know we are wretched. I know we cannot even stand in the sun when we're trying to look at sun worship. I know we can't even look directly in the eyes of black people. I know we have been shady dealing since we got here. I know we was born in filth. I know we lived in caves and enclosed those hovels with manure shit. I know our fleas were our best friends. We slept with goats. I know we didn't have windows in our house because it was worthless, because there was nothing we needed to do in terms of reading. I know all of these things, but this 1 talent, which has to be in us because we were still created from the black source. We have to bury that talent and cultivate it. That was his message to white folks. And I got that. So white folks, you do have a path of transformation. The problem is you're trying to intertwine it with black people's level. The moment you get off of that shit, you won't. And we're not talking about superiority, inferiority. We're just talking about you're just not in the same class. I don't think a college person is inferior or superior to as an entity than a 3rd grader. But I think his knowledge, based upon the work he has put in, the time that he has put in, the time that we have been here, is superior to what it is you are. You need to recognize that. You need to know who your father and your mother is. Stay out of our way, let us do our work, which will allow you to see and evaluate your 1 talent and where you are and do your work. That's my message for hope for you. And if you don't accept it, I don't care less. But let's see if you try to go head to head with my ancientness and see where it leads you.